All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Krug Show, brought to you by Pig and a Pickle. The best barbecue in all of Northern California is Pig and a Pickle. We got a short show today. We're gonna talk for about an hour, roughly an hour, maybe 45 minutes. I'm going live on the radio at 10 a.m. from 10 to 11. Chris Easterling is going to join me from Cleveland. He is the Browns beat writer. He's going to stop by on KMBR on the radio side at roughly 10:30 or so. So join me for the next hour and 45 minutes as we talk Niners, Browns, and all the topics attached to both. Let's go right now. Off and running Saturday morning. Hope everybody's having a great one. Happy Thanksgiving weekend. Happy Saturday, November the 29th, 9:15 on the West Coast. Running about 15 minutes behind. Quarter afternoon back east. Welcome to the Krug Show. Brought to you by Pig and a Pickle. The best barbecue in all of Northern California is Pig and a Pickle. The best barbecue you're going to find anywhere. Pig and a Pickle. Check them out. They're in Corte Madera. They're in Emeryville. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out, and they do run out. So get there early, get some brisket chili. They're opening a third location in Petaluma. That's right. It's been so profitable. They're going for a third location. Check that out. We'll have more details on that. And also check us out. December 7th, we're going to be at Pig and a Pickle for the Krug Show meet and greet. Hopefully a bunch of you guys will be there. We're going to give away Krug Show merchandise, including a signed, this is not a Krug Show merchandise, but Anthony Catania, my sponsor, who owns Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles, and he's a great follow on Instagram at Sharp Corners 831 on the gram. Great guy, also a great sponsor of the Krug Show. Anthony Catania can be reached at 831-521-5264. He's given us a Ricky Pearsall mini autographed helmet that we're going to give away to one lucky Niner fan on Sunday, December the 7th, at Pig and a Pickle in Corte Madera. So please join us, stop by, just kind of an open house, informal. I'm going to be watching some ball, eating some barbecue, hanging out. And as many of you as can come by, please do. We'd love to see you. Come support Pig and a Pickle and the Krug Show. So anyway, December 7th at Corte Madera Mall. It's a great mall, by the way. So if you want to, there are dying breed great malls, but if you want to go, maybe you're into sports, your wife's not, maybe she's into sports, you're not, whatever, somebody can go Christmas shopping while the other person hangs out and has some barbecue and watches some bye-week, week 14 football that will include all the teams except for the Niners or the other teams that are on the bye that day. All right, let's get right into it. Niners and Browns going. We got this one. It's a good one. Half dead. Larry must have kept it to only a 6-pack last night. No, Larry's not the biggest drinker. Like if you're my college fraternity brother, or if you're somebody I scouted with in the Canadian League, or if you're one of my scouting friends from the NFL, or you're rolling into town, and you're from out of town, you're like, Krug, let's go tie one on. We are going to tie one on. I mean, we're going to go out. We're going to, drink a ton of beer, get an Uber, throw up in a bush, and do it right. That's the only way I roll. The old philosophy was if you can't go big, just go home. So we always go big when we go. But you know what? I'm 55. I'm a father of 4. I'll have a glass of wine around the house with the wife. But yeah, I'm that guy who only drinks really to get wasted with his buddies. So I really don't have I will not be the guy who comes home from work, has 3 or 4 beers and calls it a night. I ain't judging you if that's your routine. Do what you got to do, whatever floats your boat. But I'm just not a big drinker. Not a big drinker. Maybe because I was in a fraternity in college, I did a lot of binge drinking. Maybe it's because I drank in high school. Hate to say it, bad example. But here I am at 55, and I'm a social drinker and a wine drinker. I mean, even on Thanksgiving, my brother had beer there. I went with the Martinelli's apple cider. I didn't go beer. I didn't go mixed drinks. Didn't go wine. Partially because I had to drive home and all that, and I didn't want to be in a tryptophan coma I got this one. Anytime someone says, Krug, you called it, you're going right to the front of the line. Here we go. ANG Pano 12. Larry, you called it. Monangi is a beast running back. God, man. I mean, I don't know much, right? I don't know much history. I don't know much, geography, but I do know that I love you. No, what's that song? I don't know much, but I do know football personnel. And, yeah, I mean, come on. Jordan James, really? Jordan James in the 5th freaking round, John Lynch, really? When you had Kyle Monangi there in the 7th round out of Rutgers. It was an incredible running back draft, one of the great running back drafts of our lifetime. And what did the Niners get? Jordan James, slow running back who hasn't played all year. Can't break 4.5. Let's hope he's good. And that's about it. I just have hope that he's good. By now, come on, if he was going to be good, he would have been good. Yeah, you could have had Kyle Monangi. Oh my God, you could have had so many better games with a guy like Monangi in the 7th round. And there was no reason to rush on a running back in the 5th round. They were there after the draft. They were there all throughout the 6th and 7th round. And they got to get Jordan James. And it's like maybe Jordan James will be great, but odds are he's not. Odds are they're going to miss again on another running back. All right, let's get into the matchup. I've got some thoughts I want to share with you on Lynch, and then I also did a mock draft I want to show you. Maybe I can show you. Let me see if I can show you the mock. I'm always a little premature on these mock drafts, but I did one last night that I really love. So I'm going to show it to you. I'll take a photo of it, and then we can put it on the screen. And you guys can check it out for yourselves, what you think. The draft is a long way away, but I do start doing these exercises in early December. This year I started in late November, where I start looking at who do I like so far in the draft process. If the draft were held today, is there somebody that's available at every pick that I know about would want the 49ers to draft? So it usually takes me a while. I can't do this in September. I can't do it in October because we just don't know who's going to be in the draft. We still don't know, but we got a much better idea right now than we did early in the year. All right, let's talk though before we get into my mock draft, before we get into my plea for Roger Craig for the Hall of Fame. I want to talk about some of the keys to the game, and and I hate to say this, if you watch me here and you catch me in the next hour on the radio, I'm going to double down on this segment because this is what 49er Forecast on KMBR on a Saturday is all about. Let's talk about the matchup. So let's get into what I think are the keys to victory for the 49ers in this game. And we'll start on the offensive side of the ball. First of all, it's going to be a wintry mix. A wintry mix. It sounds so great, doesn't it? And then when you see it on TV, you're like, why in the hell does anybody live here? You chose to live here? I talked to a guy yesterday from Cleveland. I'm like, hey, man, how's the weather? He's like, how's the weather going to be Sunday? He's like, probably going to be like it is today and yesterday. I'm like, oh, what's that? And he's like, well, about 35 to 39 degrees. And, either icy rain or some kind of sleet or snow, what we like to call a wintry mix. And I'm like, it sounds so delightful. 25 to 35 mile an hour winds, snow or rain. It's a nightmare. In other words, it's going to be a freaking blizzard. We have one term for that on the West Coast. It's called freaking blizzard. That's what that is. But Shanahan told the boys, hey, you know what? Get ready for a blizzard. If it's anything less than that, it will surprise us. All right, keys to victory for the Niners on offense. Number one key to victory. Get rid of the ball quickly, Brock Purdy. Period. End of sentence. Myles Garrett has 14 sacks in the last 5 games alone. Guys, it's the greatest 5-game stretch sack-wise in the history of the NFL since they started keeping the sack stat in 1982. Nobody, not LT, not Reggie White, not Bruce Smith, not you name it, Richard Dent, anybody, none of them. Think of the greatest sack masters in the world ever. Nobody's ever had 14 and a half sacks in 5 games. Myles Garrett has 14 and a half sacks in the last 5 games. Get rid of the football quickly. Hold the ball at your own peril. Do not hold the ball against this Browns defensive line. If you're Kyle Shanahan, do not call 5 and 7 step drops. Do not do it. The ball has to come out. Brock Purdy played. If there was one complaint from watching the film again, he was too late, too slow, and there wasn't a lot on those passes in the middle of the field. But really the issue was he was late and slow and slightly behind. He's got to speed up his clock. He's got to hurry it up. He's got to get that ball out. You cannot hold the ball against Myles Garrett, and bad stuff is going to happen. The Cleveland's got 2 really good corners. Denzel Ward, fantastic. They traded for Tyson Campbell. He's been outstanding since he showed up. So they got 2 really good corners, and they got a big defensive end that's having the greatest year of his life. And maybe the greatest defensive end we've ever seen, really. I mean, what makes Myles Garrett Myles Garrett? Myles Garrett's parents. That's what made Myles Garrett Myles Garrett. If you don't like Myles Garrett, blame Mr. and Mrs. Garrett. This guy's 6'5", 280, runs 4.5, is strong as an ox, quick as a cheetah. I mean, the guy's unbelievable. He's physically incredible. I'm an A&M fan, so I watched him all throughout college. He wasn't this good in college. He wasn't this good. He was good. He was great, but he wasn't like this. He wasn't even like this 3 years ago. But now, see, defensive line's technique. It's all about technique. So now he's got all the technique, and he still has the 4.5 speed, and he's still 280. So he is maybe the greatest physical specimen we've ever seen off the edge. So get rid of the ball now, like right now. Do not hold it, or it's going to be a long day. That's key number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Key number 2 on offense: run the ball. Run the ball. These are a wintry mix. That might as well just be an open invitation to run the ball. Run the ball. And you sit there and go, Krug, it's a really good defense. Well, you know what? Baltimore a couple weeks ago ran for 6.1 a carry. New England earlier this year ran for 177 yards on this Browns defense at 5.1 a carry with multiple rookie offensive linemen. So don't tell me it can't be done. Get Carson Schlesinger, the first pick of the second round, blocked and run the ball. Run the ball. Did I mention run the ball? Okay, so those are the secrets. So that's the key on offense. Also, punt. If it's not there, don't turn it over. Punt. Nothing crazy on third down. Do not take crazy chances, especially early in the game, on the road, in bad conditions. The Niners have been practicing in dry conditions in Northern California in 50 degrees. The Browns practiced in that slog of crap 2 days ago. And all that wind and rain and snow. Who's got the advantage? They do. All right? Don't try anything wild on third downs. Don't ruin the game on third down. Brock, protect the football. Make a play, fine. Don't make any negative plays. That Brock's great at make a play. He's not great at avoiding negative plays. Avoid negative plays. All right, those are your 3 keys on offense. On 4th key, special teams. Win on special teams. This special teams unit the Browns have is not great. A couple weeks ago, the Jets scored 2 special teams touchdowns and beat the Browns 27-20 in a game where the Browns really were the better team and won many of the statistical categories, and yet the Jets won the game. How? Kick return touchdown, punt return touchdown, win on special teams. 3-4 weeks ago, that would have been laughable. The Niners special teams are going like this. They're going up. They're getting better every week. They can actually beat teams on special teams. Special teams is now in their favor. Win on special teams. Get a big return. Okay, on defense, what are the keys? Well, you got Shedeur Sanders making his second start of the year. He's got a 41% completion percentage. Give him a lot. Give him a lot of different looks. Give him a lot of movement. Get into get into some pre-snap looks and then spin that into something else post-snap. Give him a lot of pre-snap looks. Give him a lot of movement on the line of scrimmage. Sim pressure a lot. Confuse him as much as you can. Pressure Shador. He's an athlete, but he ain't fast. He can move around and he's kind of shifty, but he ain't fast. Pittsburgh had 6 sacks against Cleveland. The Raiders only had 1 last week against Shador, and he beat him. Baltimore had 5 sacks against this Cleveland O-line. The Jets had 6 sacks against this Browns O-line. Pressure Shador. Lots of different pre-snap looks. Rotate into something else. Give him a bunch of different looks. He hasn't played a lot of football at the pro level. He completed a really high percentage. He completed a really high percentage in college, 74%, but a lot of that was underneath. So pressure him, give him a bunch of different looks, and go after him. Kev's asking me what college games I want to bet today. If anybody has a college lock today, Kev's partying with his buddies in Hawaii right now, by the way. If anybody has a college football lock of the day you want to throw me, that'd be great. I'll throw it to Kev, and we'll get down on that. All right, a couple other keys, and these are the real keys on defense. The Browns have a doubleheader tandem at running back of rookies they're damn good. I mean, this is just great picks by Andrew Berry. Quinshon Judkins has got 4.4 speed. He was great with the Buckeyes. He was great at Ole Miss. He's 225 pounds. He's one of the best talents at running back in the entire league. You don't see guys with, 225, 230 running 4.4. But you do in Quinshon Judkins, and he is the real deal. And you got to get him, at the line of scrimmage. He gets on that second level, it's a mismatch. He gets on the third level, he's going to run dudes over. You got to get Judkins down at the line of scrimmage. You can't get him into your secondary. If he's rumbling into the secondary, they're going to beat the Niners today. The other guy you got to watch for is Dylan Sampson, the Tennessee running back who was drafted as well this year. He last week against the Raiders had a 50-yard reception. And, Shador, the one thing about Shador is he's not going to drive it down the field as much. He's going to look for the stuff underneath. And so I would say Dylan Sampson is a factor on Sunday for sure. He's got 69 targets on the year. That's second on the team to Jerry Jeudy. So, I mean, this guy, they target Sampson, excuse me, let me correct myself. He doesn't have the 69 targets. Harold Fannin has the 69 targets. Fannin is the rookie tight end out of Bowling Green, who was a huge factor at Bowling Green, very much a dominant receiver. Fannin, 69 targets, second on the team to Jeudy. So that's the other combo. You got to look for them to use either Fannin or Njoku or both in 12 personnel. Njoku's been targeted less, 45 targets to 69 for Fannin. Fannin had a big day against the Steelers, 7 catches for 81 yards. And then their leading receivers, Jerry Jeudy, and Judy's a talent. He's had a weird career. You catch him on the wrong day, though, and he will light you ablaze. And the Niners got to make sure that they limit him because he's a downfield receiver and he makes big plays. So there you go. Those are the keys to victory as I see it. Let's hit a couple of these supers here, see what people are saying this morning. Joseph Ernberg in the house. He said that Bears game looks real. Eagles are pretenders. Well, that was the other thing. The new development in the NFC is that it's wide freaking open. It is wide open. Did you see the Eagles yesterday? By the way, the Bears are coming. The Bears are coming, baby. They're just getting better and better and better and better. And you can kind of see with the way they're playing that they're just playing with the house's money. I mean, they're loose. They got nothing to lose. They've been bad for a long time. So, like, the entire city of Chicago is invigorated and excited and enthralled, and the rest of the teams are limping towards the finish line, and the Bears are like, whoo. Bears are like high-stepping and, going out late and getting up early, and there's no effect, and they're 9-3, and they've won 9 of 10 or something like that. I mean, it's just they look great. Now the defense is not great, but man, they got weapons on offense. Caleb's making plays. They're running the ball. They just ran the hell out of the ball against the Eagles. But it's funny. Some buddy of mine was saying, "Hey, Krug, are you bummed about that game because the Bears look good?" And I'm like, "No, I'm actually pretty excited about the game because the road to the Super Bowl, I thought went through the Link in Philly, and now I'm pretty convinced it doesn't. The Eagles can't do anything. The Eagles can't run the ball. They're not running the ball. Hurts isn't taking any chances. He's not challenging downfield. He doesn't throw any picks because he didn't throw the ball down the field. He doesn't take any. You don't throw picks if you don't throw the ball into tight windows. He doesn't even bother throwing the ball into tight windows. I mean, talk about a guy who's regressed. Talk about a guy who's fallen in love with his own stats. This is a guy who used to be out there for the W. Now Hurts is out there for don't throw any picks and don't get blamed. Well, you're not going to throw any picks if you don't throw it in any tight windows, but you also don't have much of a downfield passing attack, and that's the Eagles. So the Eagles offensively don't look very good, and defensively they don't stop the run. You can run right through them. I welcome a trip to the Link to take on the Eagles. It'll be Christian McCaffrey left, Brian Robinson right. The Niners will run right through the Eagles. The Niners have a shot, and it's to run the ball. And, if you look around, look at these teams in the NFC. Can the Niners beat the Rams on the road? They already have. Can the Niners beat the Seahawks on the road? They already have. And then can the Niners beat the Bears on the road? I think they can. I think they can beat the Bears on the road. The Bears are 1-2 in their own division, by the way. They're 9-3, but they're 1-2 in their own division. I was saying the other day they may not win again. That's looking stupid because they just beat Philly and they look like they're rolling, but their schedule is daunting. Absolutely daunting. Take a look at the Bears' schedule down the stretch. But the Eagles don't look good. Tampa's really banged up. Seattle still has Sam Darnold and a questionable offensive line. Green Bay, what's Green Bay? Green Bay, pretty good defense. Offense is kind of iffy. Detroit may not even make the playoffs. Dallas looks like they're coming on like gangbusters. By the way, all the people are like, there's no real reason to make a trade at the deadline. Really? Dallas added Quinnen Williams, Logan Wilson. They made some trades. Yeah, they traded some picks. Everybody said, the Cowboys are idiots. They look great right now. They look absolutely great. Who's the team you don't want right now? Dallas. You saw the way they treated Kansas City on Thanksgiving. They can put up points. They got Quinnen Williams in the middle of that defense. Kenny Clark. They suddenly have their defensive line's got some teeth. They've always had some pretty good players on that team offensively. Now Pickens is playing his ass off. Dallas. Yeah, you don't want Dallas right now. They're 6-5-1. They're probably going to miss the playoffs. They're the 9 seed, but they're going good. They're going good. All right, a couple more here. Marcus says, love the content and honest assessments. If you were the GM, what is the one trade, one free agent, and one draft position choice in the offseason? P.S. They should hire you. Wow. You're putting me on the spot. I didn't know you were going to do this. But one trade, one free agent, one draft position choice. Well, I'll start with the draft choice. I like Caden McDonald and Jennings Dunker. McDonald is a big defensive tackle from Ohio State. Dunker's a gigantic right tackle, plays at Iowa. I really like Jennings Dunker. I think he's really talented. I also like, as a late round offensive lineman, a guy from Oakland, J.C. Davis, who plays for Illinois. I think he's going to be a really sleeper of a draft choice. Great athlete, tough, good program. I always love, if you're going to look for offensive linemen, look for them out of the Big Ten for the most part. That's where the best offensive line coaches are. As far as a trade, I would definitely look to trade Brandon Aiyuk, if I could, for whatever I could get. And as far as a free agent, I don't know who the free agents even are. I'd have to defer on that one. I'll have to go look at the free agent list. I wouldn't do a lot in free agency. I really wouldn't. I don't have a problem with the Niners sitting out free agency. I think sitting out free agency is probably the right way to go. There's a lot of bad decisions that are made in free agency. But if I could add one, difference maker I want a difference maker if I'm adding a veteran free agent. I want somebody who's got crazy work ethic, great example for everybody else. I don't want some guy who's going to get a big fat check and make himself an island unto himself. And every time you ask him to do something, he's like, well, in Atlanta, we did it this way. Fuck you in Atlanta. Who cares? We're doing it this way here now. I mean, I don't want any Devondre Campbell's like, hey, you know what? I have my own way of doing things. Go to hell. You have your own way of doing things. Then we don't want you. So I'd be very circumspect about the offensive line or about the free agent that I would bring in. Very circumspect. Bill Kennedy says, do the Niners need to win out to get a home playoff game? Yes, I think. We'll see how it all works out at the end, but I would say they probably need to win out. All right. Couple more thoughts that I want to share with you guys. One, Shanahan's 1-9 against Jim Schwartz. 1-9. But I just get the feeling that they're going to win this game on Sunday. Brock Purdy's being doubted. Brock Purdy's good when he's being doubted, and he's being doubted heavily. So I feel good about that. I feel really good about their chances. Couple other notes. Eric Kendricks is here. I thought that was interesting. The Niners brought up Eric Kendricks or signed Eric Kendricks to their practice squad. He had 138 tackles last year and 3 forced fumbles. Now, he's not the pass cover linebacker that he was early in his career. He allowed a career worst 110.8 rating in pass coverage with Dallas. So the Niners tried to get him last year, and he'd committed. It was announced Eric Kendricks is coming to the Niners. But Mike Zimmer was his DC in Minnesota for all those years, and he was in Dallas. So he joined Zimmer in Dallas, and he backed out. And so now he replaces Stone Blanton on the practice squad. I thought it was interesting what Shanahan said about him, though. He said, we've been talking to him throughout the year. I know he had other options, but the timing was right for him. We've been wanting him on board, so we were pumped he wanted to come here. So that's interesting. So Kendricks, I think, could help. He could help their defense. And then I'll tell you another thing that's kind of a quiet thing, but it's actually kind of a major factor is Yatir Gross-Matos. Shanahan said this week there's a chance he returns after the bye week, which would be huge. He's their best interior rusher. And, Yatir Gross-Matos, believe it or not, has had an impact. By the way, as far as a stat of the day, how about this? The 49ers have $103 million in dead cap and $66 million in player contracts of guys who are on injured reserve right now. The Niners have $169 million doing absolutely nothing for them, and they're still 8-4. I mean, that's pretty amazing. It's some bad decision-making in the front office. The Niner front office is costing the Niners this year $103 million in dead cap. It's a lot of bad decisions, baby. It's a lot of bad decisions. $66 million and guys on IR. It's a lot of bad luck, and somehow they're still 8-4. One other note I think is interesting. John Lynch on NBC Sports Bay Area talking about Brandon Aiyuk. Did you see what Lynch said about Brandon Aiyuk? Should I share a screen? Or maybe I'll just read it to you. He said, Brandon's rehabbing. He's trying to get back on the field. Some things were reported this week that happened a long time ago. I think both sides probably have moved on from that. There are things that happen. There's basic rules, team rules, league rules. I can tell you as a team, we don't have many. The ones we do have are very important to us. And when you're not adhered to this, when they're not adhered to, this is the first time it's happened in our tenure. We felt like we had no other recourse as to exercise those things. And so we have, like I said, we've moved on from it. We want nothing more for Brandon to come back and be a part of this team because he's a really good football player and he's done a lot for our team, and we're very appreciative for that. We're better when he's on the field. I mean, to say that the Niners are, confusing people with their whole Aiyuk stance doesn't even speak to it. Do you want him or do you not want him? I mean, what's the deal? I mean, supposedly you ate up all the guaranteed money. Why the hell would he want to come back? Why? Now, he said it was okay because he realized he was in the wrong. But, I mean, the way Lynch is talking about it, you would swear that he's going to be on the team in the future. And how could that be the case if these teams, if it's the report was There's no more. They ate all the guaranteed money in the summer and are likely to say goodbye in the offseason. Now this doesn't sound like that. This sounds like they want him back. So I don't know what to say. Sounds like the Niners may still entertain the idea of trading him, and they want something for that asset. That's what it sounds like to me. They're gonna say whatever they need to say and do whatever they need to do to get this guy on the field for a blink of an eye to show everybody he's healthy, so they can showcase him for some offseason trade. That would be my guess. I mean, he's talking about him like he's going to be a staple for the franchise going forward. Does anybody believe that's the case? So that's kind of a weird comment. It's like, do you want him or do you not want him? Is he staying or is he not? I just think it sounds like Lynch and Shanahan love the guy, and the ownership wanted their money. And the ownership's like, we're going to take our money. And Lynch and Shanahan are now trying to be like, patch everything up. Jed got his money. The Niners got out from under. Parag got the Niners out from all those, all the voidable money. They voided it. But why would the guy want to play for you? It's crazy. I mean, it really is a bizarre situation. But it sounds like it's headed towards some kind of an offseason trade, which I guess is better than releasing the player. But that's the whole thing. To say that they're all over the map on this doesn't even speak to it. So this is going to be an interesting one. This is going to be an interesting game for sure. It's a huge game for the Niners. They have to get this one. They really do. Because if you look at it, they're going to struggle to win it all in the final 3 games. So they got to bank these wins. They got to bank this win. They got to bank the win coming out of the bye week against Tennessee. They need those 2 wins. They got to get to 10 wins going into the 3 weeks left. And then maybe you get one of those. I still think they can beat the Bears at home, even though the Bears are rolling. I definitely think they could beat Seattle. That game on the road in Indy, I don't know what to expect there. But you never know. You never know. Niners are going to go and fight it out. We'll see if they can. Get to 11 wins. 11 wins, I think, gets you in for sure. 10 wins likely gets you in. One other note that I want to get to here. Actually, before we get to this note, let me see if I can show you guys my latest edition of the mock that I put together. Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's see if we can do this. I'll share the screen. This is the latest edition. Do the Niners need to win out? Yes, they do need to win out to get the home playoff games. We'll take that off the screen. We'll share the screen. There we go. And we will let you see what we put together. All right, this is what we put together. All right, this is the latest mock that I did. Niners picking 22. And I didn't do any. I may have done one trade to add like one pick. That was about it. But I went with Caden McDonald, the defensive tackle out of Ohio State, at number 22. He's a monster. He's 325 pounds, but he's got footwork to rush the passer. Then I went Jennings Dunker from Iowa in round 2. Big right tackle. I think you could put him in there right away for McKivitz. If you want to move McKivitz inside, or you could groom him to be your right tackle of the future. Or maybe even your left tackle, but he's a right tackle right now. Jonah Coleman's an interesting kid. He's from Stockton, and he's 5'9", 230, 225 pounds, and he runs really hard. Really like Jonah Coleman from University of Washington. Just a big, powerful guy that's just a hard guy to tackle. At 123, I took Jalen Kilgore. Man, Kilgore is a stud athlete. Big-time hitter. You know where this guy is. This is a difference-making safety. This guy's a great athlete who can play the safety spot, impact guy, hitter, can run. Very intimidating player. I really like Jalen Kilgore. Then I looked down and I said, okay, we got the D tackle, the offensive tackle, the running back, the safety. We got a DB. We don't have the edge rusher, so we got to go edge rusher. So now I decided to really lean in towards the edge rushers. I took Anthony Lucas from USC, who's 275 pounds. I think he's really athletic and talented. Zion Young is part of a really good tandem at Missouri. Zion Young's a little small for what the Niners usually like. Um, um, Skylar Gill Howard from Texas Tech. Really like him. Texas Tech's defensive line's been fantastic. I took him at 172. Nick Harbor, the gigantic wide receiver, he could be a tight end. He's fast and big, and he's just more of a flyer on a big, fast athlete at 188. I like Harbor. He's on the freaks list. Needs work for sure, but he's big and fast, and he's kind of a field stretching guy, but in a 6'4" frame with a lot of weight. Caden Curry is a high motor, kind of a wannabe Nick Bosa. He's an edge rusher for Ohio State. He looks, this guy's 260. I love the motor. I love the bend off the edge. This kid is really fun to watch. He's not going to have great speed or strength, I don't believe. So he's probably going to be there late on day 3. But at pick 200, Caden Curry from Ohio State. At pick 26, the Virginia kid who transferred to Notre Dame, Malachi Fields. Now, I don't know if Malachi Fields has got enough speed to play in the NFL. He's kind of a slow, but he's kind of a slow receiver, but he's big. And we're talking about big athletic receiver with great hands. Doesn't run a great 40 time, but this guy could be kind of like almost like a Juwan Jennings replacement. I think in the offseason, you let Jennings walk in free agency and you replace him with Malachi Fields. And then pick 237, J.C. Davis, who's an Oakland kid, very super athletic. Could have came out in the draft last year, decided to go back to Champaign for another year. Really like J.C. Davis as an offensive line prospect, especially at pick 237. So there you go. That's my mock draft for the moment. One of the things I'm going to talk about today on KNBR as well is Roger Craig belongs in the Hall of Fame. And let me just lay this out for you in 3 or 4 minutes quickly before we bolt out of the door and head over to the radio. Roger Craig belongs in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It's ridiculous that he's not in there. He's the first of only 3 players to have 1,000 yards rushing, 1,000 yards receiving in the same season. He is the original 1,000. He was a trailblazer. He was ahead of his time. He revolutionized the running back position. He was the engine of the Niners West Coast offense under Bill Walsh and a 3-time Super Bowl champion. First player ever for 1,000. Only 2 players have accomplished it since. So it's really, really special. Integral part of 3 Super Bowl winning teams. Just, he was a great star, but he was overshadowed by Joe Montana and Jerry Rice. His numbers were suppressed from, playing with Rice. He was he made the playoffs every one of his 11 seasons in the NFL. Bill Walsh described him as the best all-around running back of his era. This guy's got to be in the Hall of Fame. The fact that he's not is ridiculous. He broke 1,000 yards from scrimmage in each of his first 7 seasons in the NFL. 4-time Pro Bowler. Led the Niners in receptions in 4 of his 8 seasons with the Niners. First player to score 3 touchdowns in a Super Bowl to cap that 84 season with a 38-16 win over the Dolphins at Stanford. Gary Reasons, the longtime New York Giant linebacker who played 10 games against the Niners and Craig in his 9 NFL seasons, said, I look at him and Walter Payton as the number 1 and 2 running backs in the 1980s. They were the 2 guys who could really do it all. Roger Craig belongs in the Hall. Come on. This is ridiculous. Craig ranks 46th all-time with 8,189 yards rushing, 47th in yards from scrimmage at 13,100. His intangibles were unbelievable. He set the tone for the Niners' work ethic. He was the first guy to run to the end zone in practice every time he touched the ball. And then Jerry copied that. And at times, McCaffrey will copy that. At times, but not every day. Craig did it every day. If he's being kept out of the Hall of Fame because of the fumble in the 1990 NFC Championship game, then that's ridiculous. Eric Howard that day forced the fumble. The Giants moved 33 yards in the final 2 minutes, set up Matt Barr's 42-yard game-winning field goal. Giants and not the Niners went to the Super Bowl in Tampa. The Giants, not the Niners, beat the Buffalo Bills in Tampa for that Super Bowl, and the Niners didn't get the three-peat. You telling me that this guy's Hall of Fame career comes down to one freaking play? Really? Come on. That's ridiculous. Joe Montana threw a pick 6 to Reggie Rutland in a playoff game that cost the Niners. So what? So what? I mean, is Joe not a Hall of Famer because of one play in one big playoff game? No. Come on, that's ridiculous. 8,000 rushing yards, almost 5,000 receiving yards, over 13,000 total yards, 73 total touchdowns, 3 rings. Let's compare him to some of the other guys who are already in. Total rushing yards, 8,189, more than Larry Zonka, more than Gale Sayers, more than Ollie Matson, more than Lenny Moore. They're all in. He's not. 4,911 receiving yards, more than Thurman Thomas, more than Barry Sanders, more than Eric Dickerson, Tony Dorsett, Walter Payton, John Riggins, Franco Harris. His 4,911 receiving yards are only 551 receiving yards less than Hall of Fame receiver Lynn Swann's career total. And he was a receiver. And he's in the Hall of Fame. 13,100 total yards. That's more than Earl Campbell, and he's in. That's more than Lenny Moore, and he's in. That's more than Zonka, more than Sayers. They're in. 13,100 total yards. That's more total yards than Steve Largent, who played 14 years to Rodgers 11. That's more total yards than Paul Warfield, than Lynn Swann. It's more than double Lynn Swann. And Swann's in and Craig's not. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. More than Stallworth, more than Michael Irvin. 73 touchdowns, more than Gale Sayers, more than Ollie Matson, more than Larry Zonka. They're all in. He's not. Chris Carter had 840 total yards more than Craig. He played 5 more seasons and didn't win any Super Bowls, and he's in. Terrell Davis. Craig had 4,200 more yards than Terrell Davis. Andre Reed. He has only 610 more total yards than Craig. He played 5 seasons more, and he has no rings, and he's in. Andre Reed's a Hall of Famer, but Roger Craig is not. Shannon Sharp. Craig has 3,000 plus more yards than Shannon Sharp. Pro Bowler at fullback, Pro Bowler at halfback. Innovated the position. I mean, come on. Roger Craig, first ever 1,000, led the league in receptions one year with over 90. Over 20 years later, only one player has matched that feat, Marshall Faulk. Come on. Roger Craig is a Hall of Famer. Roger Craig is a Hall of Famer. Simple as that. It's time for us to bolt because we got the radio coming up here in 4 minutes. We should tell everybody that the Krug Show is also brought to you by our friends at Sleeper. Thanks to Sleeper for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. Fantastic sponsor of the Krug Show. All football season long is presented by Sleeper, fastest growing fantasy platform in the world. It's a one-stop shop. You get blazing fast news, real-time stats, group chats, season-long leagues, and, of course, Sleeper picks. For daily fantasy, use promo code Larry. Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. Links in the description. Terms and conditions do apply. And also thanks to Habbas Law. Big fans of Habbas Law. They do an incredible job. Thanks to Habbas Law for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. 1-800-INJURED is their number. Fantastic company. Great law. When you need a good lawyer, go to Habbas Law. You will not be disappointed. 1-800-INJURED. They'll fight to make it right. HabbasLaw.com on the web. HABBAS law.com. They will fight to make it right. They're great attorneys. They're rooted here in the community. Love Habbas Law. All right, 3 minutes from now, I will appear on the radio. And we'll talk about some of the things we just talked about. So we'll be a little repetitive, but we'll get into a number of things, more keys to the game, and we'll get into more thoughts on why I think Roger belongs in the Hall of Fame. I'm really passionate about that right now. Anyway, thanks to you all. Join me on the radio right now. Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching the Krug Show on YouTube. Peace.
Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of. Careful, you gon' get it.